So unfortunately, time is the one that has created the beginning and end. And it is interested in permanence, whereas the functioning of the body is immortal in its own way, because it has no beginning, it has no beginning, it is not born, so it has no death, you see. So there is a death to the thought, but not to the body. I don't know if I make myself clear.
Well, let me try and paraphrase you.
Yes.
You seem to be suggesting quite a fabric of many intertwined notions here, and one of them is that thought tends to perpetuate itself.
So it does not want to come to an end.
The mind wishes, the mind doesn't exist, but even so it wishes to believe it is immortal.
It is immortal. You know, it is interested in creating an artificial immortality of an entity, soul, self, or whatever you want to call it. It knows in a way that it is coming to an end somewhere along the line, and its survival and its continuity, its status quo depends upon the continuity of the body. But body is not in any way involved with the thought, because it has no beginning, it has no end. It is the thought that has created the 2 points. You see, this is the birth and that is the death. You see.
So our illusion that we have a mind is born out of fear.
Of fear. So we do not want the fear to come to an end, because the end of the fear is the end of the thought. If the thought comes to an end, the body drops dead there. You see, what is left after that is something the body does not know. For you, I am alive and dead, I am talking. Not I am alive and not dead, because I am responding to your questions, I am answering to your questions, but there is nobody who is talking.
There's no you there.
There is nobody who is talking, but there is only talking. It is like a tape recorder, you see, and you are playing with the tape recorder, and for your own reasons, and whatever comes out of that is what you want to hear from this tape recorder.
Well, you seem to be taking a position almost equivalent to that of the physicists who look at matter, and they look at atoms and molecules and then particles and beneath particles into quarks, and finally they say there's really nothing there.
You see, one of these days the scientists will have to come to the terms that their quest to find out what they call the fundamental particle, they don't realize that the fundamental particle does not exist, and they are not ready to accept that. And once they come to terms with that and accept that there is no such thing as a fundamental particle, and that there is no such thing as great big bang, whatever they call it, it is an exercise in futility. They will continue to dabble with that. You see, find out answers for that question only for their Nobel Prize, but not for any other
But you
reason.
seem to be saying that the body exists, that the brain exists, and that nature exists.
But that has no beginning and no end. That's all that I'm emphasizing. So since the body is not born, so it has no end. You see what?
Well, I don't know when you say the body is not born. That seems to contradict
It is the thought that has created the body and established a point and says it's born here and it's going to end there. So it is the thought that has created the time factor.
I mean, but every cell was created from a previous cell, even the egg.
We don't know the beginnings of it, you see. So the whole concept of the creator is redundant. We are caught up in the field of logical thinking, and that there is no beginning, that there is no end, is something which shatters the whole fabric, the foundation of our logical thinking.
Yes, it does.
So we are not ready to accept that at all.
But I don't know if the notion of no beginning and no end, I can see how that might apply to time and space, but not to the body.
This body you talk as if it is separate from the totality of the universe or totality of nature or whatever you want to call it. It is the thought that has created the body, a separate entity, and tells that this has a beginning, this has no end. You see, this is the end, that is the beginning. You see, it has created the space. So thought creates the space, thought creates the time. So it cannot conceive of the possibility of anything outside the field of space and thought. Actually, the thought is the one that has created the space and experiences the space, but factually there is no such thing as a space at all. But what is there is space, time, energy continuum, which is a continuum. But it has no end. You see, the thought cannot conceive of the possibility of a movement without a beginning and without a point where it is going to arrive someday or sometime, you see. So that is the problem of the thought. So its actions are limited to its perpetuation, its continuity, its permanence. But anything it says about, anything it tries to talk about, deal with or experience the body, it cannot, because it's something living. Thought is something dead.
You seem to be saying, if I can summarize your thoughts, that we are trapped in the prison of our own thoughts, and this prison creates the illusion that we are separate, that we are not part of nature, and yet the prison itself is also an illusion.
The prison also is created by the thought, and that is the reason why it is trying to get out of that trap it has created by itself.